Hey, good morning, all of you. Hello, friends. How are you? Um, okay, the weather is nice today here, where I am right now staying. It's raining outside. The light is bright, and the weather is nice. It's good to have some walk with your friends outside. Okay, I don't know what about the weather at your place. Well, let's get back to the topic. Today, we are going to learn about the file operations. So what actually the file operations are, and why we require the file operations, and how it can help you, and how to develop a program. So our objective, we will start with the basic file operations. What are they? Different type of files. After that we will go on a development platform and try to do some examples on some different kind of files, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so primary requirement of this lecture is that you should know C quite well in a logical way, at least a little bit, some for loops, some while loops, and some ASCII characters you should know, and you should be familiar with the development platform Visual Studio. We are going to do the development on Visual Studio. So let's start our program. So file operations. Today we are going to learn about file operations. I'm Suraj Chaudhary here, which I'm going to teach you these things. Okay. Basically, we have seen different kind of files, many kind of files. So what actually the file is in computers? What actually the file is? The file, anything which contains some data, is called as file. For example, your Word file, document file, and .txt, your movies, your MPEG, MP3, okay, your songs, it is a file. The exe, it is a file. You have some software setups, that is a file. You have some, you can say, you know, now there are different kind of files. Okay, anything which can be read and which can be written is called as file. So files, every file can be read, or every file can be written. Okay, so yeah, sometimes it happens that some files you are not able to read and some files you are able to read. Sometimes you open a file but you see some junk characters which you are not able to understand. So it happens sometimes, but it depends upon what kind of file you are accessing, but all the files are readable and writable. Okay, now let us see some examples of the file in your general life, because you are familiar with the terms like .txt for text files, for JPEG for your image files, again .mpeg for your movie files. You have MP3 and MP4 for some formats are there. MP3 song formats are there, MP4 formats are there for the movies, and you had also seen many exes. Many viruses are there which are exes. Okay, now there are certain doc files, some document files which you write down, some excel file are there, .xls, and many more. They don't have any end. Okay, well, Linux, in Linux we have all things treated as file. Even the folders are treated as files. Our COM ports, our printer ports, our any other sound port, anything is treated as file only. So in Linux everything is dependent upon file, but not so in Windows. Windows has some different architecture. Okay, we will not go in the architecture in more detail, but we will concentrate more on file, which is very generic in both. You see, the programming of file in both Linux and Windows is approximately, I will say 99% same. 1% only change is there. You will find it when you will do more and more programming. Okay, so let's start with files. Type of files. The files are basically divided into two parts, two different categories. One is text file and one is binary file. So text file is generally the files which you can read easily, which contain some ASCII characters like A, B, 1, 2, 3, Z, and any more characters. Some symbols are there which you can read very easily. Okay, but the binary files are the files which you cannot read easily. When you open those files, you see some junk characters which you cannot understand what actually those files are. It happens sometimes the file is not opening. You try to open it in Notepad and it opens with some junk characters like some blocks, some boxes, some smiling faces, but what actually that file means, we don't know. So these are binary files. Like if you try to open a exe file in a notepad, you will see what a binary file is. Generally, binary file contains zeros and ones, okay, and text file contains the characters. So a txt file is an example of a text file, but an exe is an example of a binary file. We will try to see how they are different and how to access those files. So there are certain basic functions in this. One is fopen. So first of all, very first thing, if you have a file, what we do, we have to open a file. After opening a file, we can do the operations on that. Okay, now the opening of the file again depends upon what kind of file you are dealing with. Suppose it is a text file, then you have to open a file in a text mode. If you are having a binary file, then you have to open a file in a binary mode. Okay, now there is fclose. If you open a file, you should know how to close a file. What happens if the file is already present, then fopen does not create a new file, it appends a new file. So there are certain flags which we have to set inside the fopen. We will see that thing. If there are certain flags inside fopen, we will set those flags and we can append the current existing file. Even we can overwrite the existing file, or if the file is not present, we can create the new file by using fopen. Okay, now fclose is similarly anything which is open has to be closed, so we use fclose. Now there is something called as fprintf. Like printf, we know it do what printing on the console. Similarly, fprintf do the printing inside the file. So whenever you want to do you want to write something in the file, you can use fprintf. Okay, similarly we have fscanf. That means you want to read something from the file, you use fscanf. Like scanf do what, take the inputs from the user on the console. Now here fscanf will take the input from the file, not from the console. Okay, the thing is, fprintf and fscanf, they both are used to access text files. Okay, that means the files those who are in text mode, those who are opened in text mode. That means we can do the text operation, writing and reading the text operations using fprintf and fscanf, but we cannot do the binary operations over the file. We cannot say save binary data inside the binary files using fprintf and fscanf. For that we have fread and fwrite. Now fread means read from a file and fwrite means write in the file. Okay, so we are going to see how these functions are there and how they work. So let's do some coding. We will directly go to development platform. So here I am going to create a new project. Okay, I have environment set as Visual Studio in this VC++. In that I will select Win32. I will select console application, because now we are developing a text project and console application is best for doing some test of projects, and we just want to see how it works. Okay, so I will change the path of my directory as, okay, let's see, sample. I will put a folder here, sample, and in that I am going to create a file, test file, and I'm going to create this. Okay, I am making a console application. I am not adding any other services, no other extra options, just simple console application. Okay, so you will get a program like this. Now let's do some file operations. So first of all, I'm going to include a file that is stdio.h. Okay, why I'm including this file? The reason behind that it contains all the input output operations. All my file APIs are declared here, all the file structures are declared here. So I have to first of all include stdio.h, then only I will use it. Okay, so first thing, very first thing, first macro which we are going to use is file. So this file is a type def to a structure. Let's take the variable fp and let's see what is there inside this file. Type def. Okay, it is a type def to a structure IOBuff, and this IOBuff contains some pointers, some base flags, files, character buffer, buffer size, and file name. Okay, some information about the files. Remember, do not do any change in this file. If you will do the change, then you will not be able to run the program well. Okay, now if I got a file pointer, now I am trying my first API, that is fopen, and here I am going to put my file name which we have made here.